Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, we're going to talk about this clown, Gilbert Arenas, again. Back to another Gilbert Arenas hot take from Gilbert Arenas, a guy who just talks for views and clicks, clickbait. That's all Gilbert Arenas is. No substance on his channel. And I was sent this clip of Gilbert Arenas once again, another clip of Gilbert Arenas talking crazy about Kobe Bryant, man, because that's what Gilbert Arenas seems to do. He just talks crazy. It does. See, even if Gilbert Arenas says a factual thing in his statement, you don't listen to it. It doesn't matter because everything else he says don't add up. So he might say one factual statement, right, or one factual thing in an entire clip that you watch, but it gets negated by all the other dumb stuff he says. That's Gilbert Arenas in a nutshell, right? So you'll have people in the comment section, oh, he's spitting facts, but people don't want to listen to Gilbert Arenas. No, he might have said one little thing that might have been factual, but everything else he said after that, it didn't add up. So it negated the one little fact that he said. That's Gilbert Arenas, man. He doesn't remain consistent. He has no integrity. He's not honorable. I don't respect him at all. I have no respect for his basketball acumen or his takes. He don't know the game like that. As far as the guys from the 80s and 90s, he don't know these guys. He don't know what's going on. And in relation to Kobe Bryant, he definitely doesn't know what's going on, which makes no sense. Gilbert Arenas is, once again, one of the most arrogant guys and really puts himself in these conversations. So basically, Gilbert Arenas put himself in the same conversation as Kobe Bryant scoring the ball. But Gilbert Arenas basically said he's a greater scorer than Kobe because Kobe Bryant needed all these counters to score. And Gilbert Arenas said that he didn't need these things. That's right, guys. We're going to talk about this video. And you guys know the deal, man. I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, I am truly humbled, man, by all the support. It means a lot, guys. It really does, man. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I was sent this clip. Shout out to my man, AP530, for sending me this clip on Instagram. Shout out to my man, AP530. He sent me a clip of Gilbert Arenas. Once again, you know, Gil's Arena, you know, whatever the hell. And this guy's talking crazy, you know, with his crew of, you know, goofs that they just always are. These guys don't make any sense, man. Like, it's just crazy. But anyway, Gilbert Arenas is talking in this clip about how Kobe Bryant, you know, he wasn't physically gifted. That was his exact words. Kobe Bryant, you know, our real quote, he said, Kobe wasn't physically gifted enough to get by them the first time. So what Gilbert Arenas in the clip is talking about is how Kobe Bryant had to do all these counters and moves because he wasn't gifted enough physically, athletically, to use his quickness or his speed, his jumping ability. You know, that's basically what Gilbert Arenas was saying. He didn't have those gifts. So Kobe Bryant had to come up with counters and, you know, all these different moves because he wasn't gifted enough to just get past people. That's what Gilbert Arenas was saying. Now, some of this is true. This is what I'm talking about. Gilbert Arenas might give you some actual facts here, something that might be true, but then he follows it up with a bunch of nonsensical statements that don't add up. So, in that regard, and we've talked about, I just mentioned this the other day, right? Kobe Bryant wasn't athletically gifted like LeBron James, like a Michael Jordan, like a Tracy McGrady, or a Vince Carter. But yet, somehow, he accomplished more than all those guys, except for Michael Jordan, because of his work ethic, because of the work that he put in on his game to work on the fundamentals, the footwork, the moves, the counters that Gilbert Arenas is talking about. So this is why Kobe Bryant is more respected. And, you know, we give him a lot more credit because he didn't have the gifts that some of these guys did to that degree, but yet he accomplished more than these guys because if he outworked them, hard work will always beat talent when talent works hard. So in this clip, Gilbert Arenas is essentially saying Kobe Bryant had to work harder than everybody else because he wasn't as gifted as everybody else. And I will agree with some of that, but Gilbert Arenas then throws himself into the conversation. He says this: the reason guys like us, talking about himself, guys like us didn't have counters because our first move couldn't be stopped. So Gilbert Arenas was saying, I didn't need all these moves and counters like Kobe Bryant did because my first move was it couldn't be stopped. That is laughable for Gilbert Arenas to say. So essentially, Gilbert Arenas is saying he was more physically gifted athletically than Kobe Bryant. He was quicker and faster than Kobe Bryant is what he was saying in this clip. And the proof is that his move couldn't be stopped. Gilbert, I'm going to read it again, guys. The reason guys like us didn't have counters is because our first move couldn't be stopped. I'm going to you marinate on that for a second. Now, I don't know who else he was talking to in this clip, why he would use us, but he was talking about himself and others in this, regard. So, his first move couldn't be stopped. So I don't know what Gilbert Arenas' first move is. Maybe he's talking about the hesitation crossover or the hesitation dribble. I don't know what move he's talking about, right? Gilbert Arenas had a couple of moves out there on the perimeter to get loose for his shot. But once again, this is where you lose me, Gilbert Arenas, because now you're throwing yourself into the same conversation with Kobe Bryant. He also mentioned Michael Jordan. So essentially, Kobe Bryant Gilbert Arenas is putting himself in the same conversation as Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan as far as scoring the basketball and his moves and how his moves can't be stopped. And he's talking about Michael Jordan didn't need those counters. He didn't need all those moves because he could hit you with a 2-dribble pull-up. He could do, and I've talked about this. Michael Jordan's precision was better than Kobe Bryant's, was greater. So I told you Michael Jordan could score more often 1 dribble or no dribbles. Absolutely. But that's Michael Jordan. He's unique that way. Gilbert Arenas can't put himself in that conversation. Gilbert Arenas never led the league in scoring. And he had some great scoring seasons. But he never led the league in scoring. Kobe Bryant did. Once again, showing and highlighting his overall offensive skills and repertoire. So now, this is another thing that Gilbert Arenas says. He says this: my first move against Kobe, lunch meat. That's what he said. My first move against Kobe, lunch meat. And I'm sure he's talking about that one time that Gilbert Arenas dropped, 60 points? I want to say he scored against the Lakers. And they tried to make it, or Gilbert Arenas promotes this idea that he scored 60 points on Kobe Bryant. Now, I've never seen that game or remember that game to say Kobe didn't guard Gilbert Arenas or he did. I can't say that definitively. I'd have to go back and watch the game. But I'm hearing stories from both sides. Kobe Bryant didn't guard Gilbert Arenas the entire time. Sometimes he did. Sometimes he didn't. Whatever the case may be, regardless, it doesn't matter. Even if Kobe Bryant guarded Gilbert Arenas every single one of those possessions and Gilbert Arenas scored 60 points, that's great for Gilbert Arenas, man. Once again, being a great defender does not mean that you don't get beat on defense, that guys don't quote-unquote cook you every once in a while or drop a career high on you or whatever it is. That happens sometimes. Once again, we can go back to Bill Russell, who's regarded as one of the greatest defenders of all time, if not the greatest defender in NBA's history. The man was getting points and buckets dropped on him by Wilt Chamberlain regularly. Once again, this is what happens when you go against the great players, right? So if Gilbert Arenas is, a really good scorer at that time when he's talking about, and Kobe Bryant's an excellent defensive player, a lot of times good offense is going to be good defense, is it not? Absolutely. Gilbert Arenas was known as a volume scorer. In my best estimation, that's what he was. A guy that put up shots, scored some points, got to the free throw line a lot, Gilbert Arenas. He had 3 years, guys. This dude is talking records off of 3 years that he had in the NBA. 3 good years. 05, 06, 07. Thus, Gilbert Arenas claimed to fame, man. Remember, he was on the cover of NBA Live. He was living the dream back then, I'm sure. And he ruined all that because he didn't have the work ethic of a Kobe Bryant. He didn't have the mind of a grown man, essentially. Gilbert Arenas was a clown. He's a child, even to this day. Listen to the way that he speaks. Look how he carries on. He's a big kid. He don't say anything worth a damn. I don't respect him as a grown man because he don't carry himself with grown man energy. The dude's a straight clown. And once again, look why he ended up at the NBA. Right? Once again, keeping it real goes wrong. Do not be like Gilbert Arenas, ladies and gentlemen. PSA out there. Don't be like Gilbert Arenas. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. Okay, so he says that his first move against Kobe Bryant, lunch meat. So he's going to keep living off that one game that he scored all these points. Great for Gilbert Arenas. What did Gilbert Arenas do with this unstoppable move that he had? I'm trying to figure this out. He talks about how he had a move that couldn't be stopped. But what did you do with that move then? Where did it go? Where did it take you? You never made it out of a second round, Gilbert Arenas. Never made it past a second round of your NBA career, which is called mediocrity in the NBA, guys. Going to a first and second round, what they call it, the second round escalator or whatever it is, you're just on the merry-go-round, the second round. That's Gilbert Arenas' career, man. You were going nowhere, dude, because you were never like that. You were a one-dimensional player that could put up some points. Great for Gilbert Arenas, man. Great for him. He did nothing else on the court. He didn't rebound. He wasn't a great playmaker like that. His assist-to-turnover ratio is nothing special. Once again, he wasn't a legit point guard like that. He had some decent ball handling ability, But once again, Gilbert Arenas played in the weakest Eastern Conference in NBA's history. But he won't mention that. Right? He won't mention that, guys. When Gilbert Arenas had his claim to fame, 05, 06, 07, what did I tell you guys? That was the beginning of the weakest era of NBA's history in the Eastern Conference, guys. 2005 to 2015, guys. There's never been a weaker conference, Eastern Conference, ever in the history of the game. That's when Gilbert Arenas was doing his thing in a no man's East. But he couldn't even do anything in the no man's East. Never made a conference finals, never once. And he played with really good players. You know, Gilbert Arenas talked crazy as if he was the only guy on his team and he was getting all these buckets, dealing with all these the defense. And because if he's going to compare himself or put himself in the same category as Kobe Bryant played in the Western Conference his entire career, Gilbert Arenas. You never played in the West except for your first couple of years, I want to say, in the league. He played for the Golden State Warriors, right? And what was he doing there? He wasn't doing anything. Wasn't he, right? He was first in the league. He was out there getting schooled by 40-year-old John Stockton, right? We talked about that, did in the video. Gilbert Arenas got upset, started crying in my comment section because 40-year-old John Stockton was cooking him out there. And John Stockton, who's not even a scorer like that, 40 years old, was doing Gilbert Arenas dirty, but Gilbert Arenas has an unstoppable move, couldn't be stopped because he's so quick and so fast. But he never got out of a second round, though. Playing in the weak Eastern Conference, playing with guys like Antoine Jameson, Caron Butler, Antonio Daniels, Brandon Hayward, Larry Hughes. He played with some quality players, man. And Gilbert Arenas is acting like he's Kobe Bryant. You're on that level of Kobe Bryant scoring the ball because you're a better athlete, basically. You're more physically gifted than Kobe Bryant. Did Gilbert Arenas not remember Kobe Bryant from 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004 Kobe? I mean, my goodness, the way that he's talking about Kobe Bryant in this clip, he's talking about, Kobe Bryant in the second part of his career. After all the injuries were starting to add up. You talk about the Kobe Bryant in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. That Kobe Bryant, yes, had counters, different moves, had lost some athleticism, right? All these nagging injuries, dealing with these things day in and day out, week in and week out for his entire career. Remember, Kobe Bryant went and had that surgery on his knee. When he go to Germany or something, had that procedure done on his knee. Like, he's had many, many injuries, Kobe Bryant, over the years that have, hampered his athleticism or his physical gifts. So, yes, Kobe Bryant wasn't gifted like Michael Jordan or Vince Carter, per se, but not many people are. Gilbert Arenas not gifted like them dudes. Gilbert Arenas puts himself in this conversation. Once again, this is where you lose me, you clown. You talk about what Kobe Bryant needed to do. And, yes, I agree. As Kobe Bryant's career went on, the injuries started to catch up. Once again, we also have to mention, Kobe Bryant is game planned against much differently than Gilbert Arenas is. And I'm not saying that Gilbert Arenas wasn't game planned for. Absolutely. Like I said, for a couple of years there, he was the biggest threat on the Wizards. It's the Wizards, though, guys. The Washington Wizards. They never won 50 games. Gilbert Arenas and that unstoppable move that he's talking about never won 50 games this season. Kobe Bryant won 60 games in the season before. Right? So his counters, his moves, his non-physical gifts, he was still able to do things with that because his work ethic, because it was mine. Gilbert Arenas has no high IQ. You listen to Gilbert Arenas, does he sound smart or intelligent to you? He's not smart. I told you, Kobe Bryant, someone like Kobe, he was very intellectual. You can tell by the way he speaks in post-game press conferences. He thinks before he speaks. He only says things that he means. That's not Gilbert Arenas. Does he think before he speaks? No. Does he say things that he means? No. He's a dummy, Gilbert Arenas. Kobe Bryant's much more intellectual, much more intelligent than a lot of NBA players. He's probably one of the smartest NBA players ever lived, speaking several languages. Like I said, and just having a worldview differently than a lot of these guys. Kobe Bryant didn't think he was smarter than everybody else, but you could tell that he was smart. See, some of these other guys, they think they're smarter than everybody else, but when you hear them, they sound dumb. Kobe Bryant was very smart. Gilbert Arenas not. But when we think about Kobe Bryant and Gilbert Arenas makes all these comments about, the counters and the moves that he had to come up with, why do you think Kobe Bryant had come up with these moves? Because every single night, Kobe Bryant's getting double teamed, getting triple teamed. He's going against the other team's best elite defenders, night in and night out. Once again, not saying that Gilbert Arenas didn't go against his share of tough defenders. I get that, but not like Kobe Bryant, man. You're not getting game planned against you like Kobe Bryant was because, once again, Kobe Bryant's impact was greater. He was leading a much greater team to greater heights. So, once again, Kobe Bryant's, the pressure that was on him, to do what he was doing much greater than Gilbert. Gilbert ain't no damn pressure on him. What pressure was on Gilbert Arenas, on the Wizards? Like, team that never won 50 games. They were never contenders. None of this stuff, man. Like I said, Gilbert Arenas put up points on a team that was mediocre. There's nothing special about that. So, yeah, you were able to score some points running in the NBA at that time, doing some moves that you were doing. But to put yourself in the conversation with Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, as far as like how these guys scored the ball and like how you score the ball, he really tried to put himself with Michael Jordan that way. Oh, man, Michael Jordan only needed one dribble to score. He didn't know all these moves. I didn't need any of these moves. And he says this, let's continue here. I didn't have no counters because you couldn't stop the first move because I was faster than you. This is what he says. He was faster than you, so he didn't need no counters. I didn't need no counters. No, you didn't need no counters, Gilbert Arenas, because you never played in the Eastern Conference Finals. You never played in the NBA Finals. You weren't going against the elite defenses like that every single year like Kobe Bryant was, battling deep postseason runs, going against guys like Bruce Bowen, the Doug Christies, the Shane Battiers, the Tony Allens, right? The Raja Bells, the guys who their job was literally to follow Kobe Bryant around, harass him, make him work and earn it. Andre Kirilenko. Gilbert Arenas don't know nothing about these dudes, man. Like I said, going every single season in the Western Conference, battling against these guys when it mattered most. Not just in a regular season, in the playoffs, when it mattered most. Gilbert Arenas ain't did nothing for the Washington Wizards. He did nothing in his career when it mattered most. He collected some money. He made a couple of All-Star appearances. Like I said, great for Gilbert Arenas, man. But he did not do anything with that. And the reason why he said, I didn't have no counters, the reason you didn't have no counters is because you didn't work on it. This dude is literally the dumbest dude I've ever heard. He's literally exposing his lack of work ethic. I didn't have no counters. So you were so great, you didn't need no counters, but Michael Jordan had counter moves. He had moves that he had off of stuff. Kobe Bryant did. All the great scorers needed counters or moves to get open. Larry Bird. We know Larry Bird wasn't physically gifted like a Michael Jordan. But once again, Larry Bird was an athlete. But once again, Larry Bird had moves because of the kinds of defenses he was going against, the way the game was played. So the post-up game. Gilbert Arenas ain't got a post-up game like Kobe Bryant, man. He ain't got no post-up game like that. So you're telling me that Kobe Bryant developed a post-up game because he had no physical gifts? Because he wasn't that great of an athlete to that level? But Gilbert Arenas was. When I tell you that Michael Jordan was a greater athlete than Kobe Bryant, you guys understand that. That's not a knock on Kobe Bryant. But for Gilbert Arenas to say that he was more physically gifted than Kobe Bryant is insane to me. Insane when he's shorter than Kobe Bryant. And like I said, to me, you're not thinking about Kobe Bryant when he first came in the league, out of high school, and what this man was doing. Fro Kobe? You're going to tell me that Fro Kobe wasn't physically gifted? Or wasn't as great of an athlete as Gilbert Arenas? Come on, Gilbert Arenas, you sound insane, man. And like I said, you're not giving credit to Kobe Bryant playing in the Western Conference all those years, going against some of the elite defenders of that time, constantly in the Western Conference, in the playoffs. Like, I mean, my goodness, man. I don't get why these guys got to talk about Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, bring these guys up and put yourself in that conversation. You're not in that conversation. So, once again, guys, we've read off and we've heard what Gilbert Arenas says, and none of this stuff adds up to me. He's right. Kobe Bryant wasn't physically gifted like Michael Jordan or Vince Carter or a Tracy McGrady. But to throw yourself in that conversation and you say, my first move against Kobe was lunch meat? So is Gilbert Arenas really trying to claim that if him and Kobe Bryant's teams went at it every single time, and we had all the teammates were neutral, and all things are even, Kobe Bryant versus Gilbert Arenas team, is Gilbert Arenas really trying to make an argument that he would cook Kobe Bryant? Let's say a 7-game series. He would cook Kobe Bryant 4 games to nothing, or he would win that series 4 games to 3 because he couldn't stop me. And my first move against Kobe's lunch meat. I'm going to take Kobe Bryant's consistent defensive effort over Gilbert Arenas and his 42% shooting off chucking up these shots and him saying he's an unstoppable move. I'm going to take Kobe Bryant every single game. Not saying that his team would win every game, but I'm going to take Kobe Bryant to win that series every single time. I won't give Gilbert Arenas any inkling to beat a Kobe Bryant. Like I said, if all things are even, Kobe leading a team versus Gilbert Arenas leading the team, give me Kobe Bryant all day, every day. Gilbert Arenas not even in this conversation, not even close. But he throws his name in here because he dropped 60 points in a game one time. Once again, playing in the weakest conference in NBA's history, he put up some points. His team never won 50 games, though, in that weak conference. Never once, guys. Never made it past the second round. Never won a significant game. Has no moments that he says, I'm unstoppable. But you're so unstoppable, never made it past the second round, never won led your team to 50 games or wins in a season, Gilbert Arenas. Like, what are we talking about here? This guy really talks crazy off of 3 seasons that he had. Gilbert Arenas talks as if he's a 10-time All-NBA performer, an MVP winner, a guy who made to the NBA Finals and just fell short. This is how he talks. Insane how these guys get carried away. The reason guys like us didn't have counters because our first move couldn't be stopped. So he's basically putting himself in the same conversation as Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant had to do a bunch of moves and counters. Kobe wasn't physically gifted enough to get by them the first time. No, Kobe Bryant was going against some hellified defenders that slid their feet, man, and they were allowed to use physicality, right? So like I told you, there were times that I saw Michael Jordan having a hard time getting past Jeff Hornacek. Does that mean that Michael Jordan wasn't physically gifted? No, it's because Jeff Hornacek studied film on Michael Jordan, right? And sometimes he guessed. He predicted what Michael Jordan was going to do. That's what great defenders do. And I'm not saying Jeff Hornacek was a great defender, but he was a great competitor. And he competed. These guys, Michael Jordan raised the level of the guys he was going against. He raised Jeff Hornacek's level. He raised up Joe Wilkins' level. He raised up John Starks' level. He raised up all these guys that were guarding Michael Jordan that you don't even remember. Derek McKee and some of these other guys. Hersey Hawkins, Nick Anderson. Some of you, these guys you forget that they'll try to knock. Oh, who was Michael Jordan going against? Dan Marley and Danny Ainge? They knocked these guys. But Michael Jordan's greatness raised their level up because they knew that they couldn't lollygag coming into a game against Michael Jordan, right? Vernon Maxwell talked about this many times. I knew when Michael Jordan was coming in, I had to make sure I got my rest and I was ready to go. I told you, I remember Gary Payne talking about studying film of Michael Jordan. Just watching film, John Starks. I remember John Starks talking about, I was watching all this film, hours and hours, studying Michael Jordan's moves, his tendencies, where he likes the ball, what he does before he gets ready. They knew, so they could read Michael Jordan at times. That's why you need moves and counters, you fool, because these guys are studying Kobe Bryant. They're studying Michael Jordan. So even though Jeff Hornacek or Dan Marley or Danny Ainge or Joe, well, maybe Joe Wilkins actually was a really good athlete. Some of these other guys maybe were not great athletes as Michael Jordan. He couldn't necessarily just use his quickness or speed to get past them because they were allowed to use physicality. And they studied him. That's the facts, guys. So that's what Bruce Bowen would do to Kobe Bryant. Shane Battier would do. Doug Christie, right? Tony Allen, Andre Kirilenko. Not only were these guys all-time great defenders, really good defenders, they gave effort. They were consistent. They also studied Kobe Bryant. And they were allowed to use a certain level of physicality at that point in the NBA still. Gilbert Arenas not going to talk about this kind of stuff, though. He's just going to run reckless like he does, talk crazy so he can get views and clicks, and feel good about himself, putting himself in a conversation with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant like he's that dude. It's insane for him to think that he is more physically gifted than Kobe Bryant because he was faster than Kobe Bryant. Like I said, is Gilbert Arenas forgetting Fro Kobe? He had 2 different careers, essentially. Almost like Michael Jordan before the first three-peat and the second three-peat Jordan. Right? It was almost 2 different players, but the same. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Almost 2 different players with the same mentality. Gilbert Arenas not going to talk about that, though. Gilbert Arenas was never like Fro Kobe. Never like that. So once again, shout out to my man AP530 for sending me that clip. Gilbert Arenas again exposing himself because this is what he does. Still, Gilbert Arenas, I haven't heard from him lately. He used to always cry and moan in my comment section. I haven't heard from that clown in a while. And like I said, man, I wanted this dude to let me debate him, but he never would. And people thought I was trying to clout chase Gilbert Arenas by asking him to debate. Ain't enough to do a clown chasing clown. Give a damn about Gilbert Arenas, man. I've exposed the clown. I'm trying to get rid of this fool. I'm trying to put the people out there or put the information out there to expose this clown. That's all it is for me. You gotta have me on this platform. Invite me on this joint, man. Like I said, let me be a guest because you sound ridiculous, man. I'm not gonna sit there and laugh at this stuff that he's saying like a lot of these guys do. I'm gonna call him out. This dude is ridiculous right now, thinking that he's on the same level of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan scoring the ball because he scored some points in the 2000s, the mid-2000s, in the weakest conference in NBA's history, man. Once again, playing for a crap team. You are a mediocre. You are putting up points on a mediocre team. Insane. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.